Urban Legends Unleashed. In the heart of a sleepy town nestled amidst rolling hills and dense woods, a group of friends gathered for a weekend getaway. They were young, brimming with life, and bonded by shared laughter and secrets. Little did they know, this idyllic retreat would turn into a living nightmare as the boundaries between reality and folklore blurred. The house they had rented was an old Victorian mansion, rumored to be haunted. The locals whispered tales of ghostly apparitions and unexplained occurrences. But to the disbelieving youths, these were mere campfire stories, perfect for a night of chilling entertainment. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows, they settled into the living room, the crackling fireplace providing a warm ambience. They began sharing their favorite urban legends, each story more terrifying than the last. The tale of the Bloody Mary, a vengeful ghost summoned by a mirror and a lit candle, was met with nervous laughter. One of the girls, Sarah, dared to test the legend, her skepticism a thin veil over her growing unease. As she stood before the antique mirror, the room fell silent. A cold draft swept through the room, and the candle flickered erratically. When she turned around, her face was pale, her eyes wide with terror. A blood-curdling scream echoed through the house. The friends rushed to her aid, finding her collapsed on the floor, her reflection distorted and grotesque in the mirror. A crimson stain was spreading across her white blouse. Panic seized them as they realized the legend had become a horrifying reality. As the night deepened, the horrors multiplied. The tale of the vanishing hitchhiker came to life when a ghostly figure materialized in the backseat of their car, its face a blank, expressionless mask. The legend of the demonic doll manifested as a sinister porcelain creature that moved on its own, its eyes glowing an eerie red. One by one, the friends fell victim to these terrifying encounters. The once jovial atmosphere was replaced by an oppressive silence broken only by the chilling whispers of the night. The house, once filled with warmth and laughter, became a haunted prison, each room a portal to a different realm of terror. As dawn approached, the survivors huddled together, their bodies trembling, their minds shattered. The horrors they had witnessed had irrevocably changed them. They realized that the stories they had dismissed as mere fiction were, in fact, dark truths waiting to be unleashed. They fled the house, leaving behind a trail of fear and unanswered questions. The Victorian mansion remained shrouded in mystery, a silent sentinel guarding the secrets of the night. The urban legends had come to life, and the survivors were forever marked by the horrors they had endured. Their escape was only temporary. The darkness that had consumed the house had seeped into their souls, leaving them haunted by the memories of that terrifying night. They carried the weight of their experiences, a burden that would never truly leave them. The story of the urban legends come to life spread like wildfire, whispered in hushed tones, a chilling reminder that the boundaries between the real world and the world of folklore are sometimes thinner than we imagine. And in the heart of that forgotten town, the Victorian mansion stood as a grim testament to the power of fear, a haunting reminder that some stories are best left untold. Days turned into weeks, and the survivors tried to piece their lives back together. But the trauma of that night lingered, a constant shadow over their existence. They were haunted by nightmares, plagued by flashbacks, and consumed by a deep-seated fear of the unknown. Sarah, the first to encounter the horrors, was the most affected. The blood-curdling scream she had uttered that night had shattered her voice, leaving her with a hoarse whisper. Her once vibrant personality had been replaced by a withdrawn and fragile demeanor. The others struggled to cope in their own ways. Some turned to alcohol and drugs, seeking solace in oblivion. Others retreated into isolation, building walls around themselves to protect their fragile sanity. But the darkness that had invaded their lives was not easily defeated. Strange occurrences began to plague them. Objects moved on their own, eerie whispers echoed through their homes, and shadows seemed to take on sinister forms. It was as if the horrors of that night had followed them, seeping into their everyday lives. They were trapped in a living nightmare, unable to escape the clutches of the urban legends that had come to life. One by one, the survivors started to disappear, their fates unknown, their absence leaving an eerie void in the lives of those left behind. Fear gnawed at the remaining survivors, as they realized they were not alone in their torment. Something sinister was hunting them, drawing them back into the world of darkness they had desperately tried to escape. As the last survivor, Sarah found herself facing the ultimate confrontation. Driven by a desperate need for closure, she returned to the haunted Victorian mansion, armed with nothing but her courage and a flickering hope for survival. The house was as she remembered it, shrouded in an aura of decay and despair. The air was thick with an oppressive silence, broken only by the creaking of old floorboards and the whisper of the wind. As she ventured deeper into the house, the darkness seemed to close in around her. The shadows danced and twisted, taking on grotesque forms. The air grew colder, and an icy dread crept into her heart. She reached the attic, the final resting place of the horrors that had haunted her. A cold wind swept through the room, and the air crackled with an otherworldly energy. A figure emerged from the shadows, its form distorted and inhuman. Sarah stood her ground, her fear transformed into a fierce determination to survive. She raised her voice, the hoarse whisper gathering strength. It was a battle cry, a defiance against the darkness that had consumed her life. With a final surge of courage, she confronted the monstrous figure. The battle was fierce, a clash between the living and the dead. In the end, Sarah emerged victorious, her spirit unbroken. As the first rays of dawn painted the sky with hues of pink and gold, Sarah emerged from the haunted house, a changed woman. The darkness that had consumed her had been vanquished, replaced by a newfound strength and resilience. She had faced her demons and emerged victorious. The urban legends that had once held her captive were now nothing more than echoes of a terrifying past. She was free. As she walked away from the haunted mansion, she turned one last time to look at the house that had been the stage for her nightmare. A sense of peace washed over her. The house stood as a silent testament to her triumph, a symbol of the darkness that had been conquered. Sarah knew that the scars of her ordeal would never fully fade, but she also knew that she had emerged from the shadows stronger than ever before. She was a survivor, a beacon of hope in a world filled with darkness. And as she walked into the new day, she carried with her the knowledge that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can prevail.